this. Guess what? The media did too. They just didn't want to let anybody know. And when that became just bare to the entire world, they had no other choice. And by the way, we know something else that the media also knows. Kamala Harris isn't qualified. Shh, right? And guess what? That's coming to light too, because you can run, but you cannot hide. And guess what? It is becoming very, very evident. But here's what I'm going to ask you to do. When you're going out and voting, and hopefully for those of you, that's a big number that has already voted, we need you to be doing something else. Now, you heard earlier from Eric Nesbitt and Matt Hall. Eric doesn't have any of his senators on the ballot. Matt's got a number of those. You heard from my friend Steve Frisbee. We need to make sure Steve Frisbee makes it to the State House. You with me on that one? But we've got to have a speed bump in front of in Gretchen Whitmer here over the next 2 years as she runs for president. Governs the state. But I can tell you this, Donald Trump is going to need backup too. Because if we do not have a Republican majority in the House, and if we do not have a Republican majority in the Senate, Adam Schiff and his ilk are going to be ruling the day again, and it's going to be nothing about some other made-up Russian hoax and impeachment and everything else for Donald Trump. And we don't want that, do we? All right, so here's how we make sure that doesn't happen. Make sure that you are going down that ballot and not just voting for Donald Trump, that you are voting for Mike Rogers to make sure that he becomes our next senator. He has to become our next senator. And I appreciate any vote that I can get, or Tim Walberg, or John Molinar, or if anybody's from the Lansing area, Tom Barrett. We've got a chance here to not just hold on to our majority, but to grow our majority in the U.S. House. And that is how our agenda, Donald Trump's agenda, America's agenda, is going to get through. Whether it's tax policy, whether it's energy policy. Anybody interested in paying $2 a gallon instead of $3 a gallon again? Yeah, how about that? Well, we are seeing this because of their decision-making, bad decision-making coming out of this administration, and we have got to change that. So, who's with me on voting for Donald Trump? Who's with me with voting for Mike Rogers? Who's voting for the U.S. House of Representatives? There we go. That's what I like to see. All right, now, I'm kind of the last one between you and J.D. Vance. Now, we're not sure exactly how far out he is. I suspect he might be in the air yet, or he's getting close. But we're going to do something. We're going to give J.D. a really, really good Southwest Michigan welcome. You're with me on that one? Okay. So I'll let you decide. But right down here in the middle, you folks on these two seats, you can choose which side you're going to be on. But this side of the room, I want to hear, when I point to you, a big J.D. This side, I want to hear Vance. All right? So let's do a little practice here, folks. You ready? All right, not bad, not bad, not bad. But he can't hear you if he's in the plane. He can't hear you if he's on the ground. So let's give this some real energy, all right? Let's make sure that J.D. Vance can hear us and welcome him. All right, let's go. J.D. 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 That's enthusiasm. I heard it right back here. I love it. All right. All right. Now, J.D.'s an important, by the way, is he not the best thing that's come out of Ohio? Especially football season, it's a little tough to talk positively about anybody from Ohio. But J.D. Vance has been a fan. I see the Block M right there, and I know there's a few green, go whites out there too. But I can tell you this, J.D. has been a breath of fresh air on the American political stage. He's a guy that has a vision. He's a guy that has some amazing experiences. And what's incredible to me is how dismissive they have been of him and his story and his mom's story and his family's story. I had one liberal who's kind of close to me go, well, everybody's got a story. Like, really? I mean, really? You think the J.D. Vance is just like, common everyday kind of story that happens to everybody? I know this is not going to come as a big surprise. Cable news has been rather dismissive about him. There was somebody that was joking around saying, J.D. Vance must have a mommy problem, Right. Right. He loves her too much. I think that's his problem. And it's like, here is a woman who has battled back from the very brink of destruction from her addiction, and who has been clean and sober for 10 years, and who doesn't want to go to that party? By the way, he opened it up at the National Convention. He said, we're going to invite everybody to her celebration of 10 years of sobriety at the White House. That's an amazing American story, and that happens only here in this country, where a woman like that can be watching her son not only become a U.S. Senator, but become potentially the next Vice President of the United States. Let's hear it for America. Let's hear it for JD's mom. There we go. There we go. Well, that amazing duo. That's an amazing duo when you link that up with Donald Trump, who has battled back from the brink of another things. And by the way, has anybody remind our friends in the media that there's actually been 2 assassination attempts on this guy in the last couple of months? They're kind of like, oh, they've memory holed that a long time ago. The world is a dangerous place, and he is in danger. Why? Because he is rocking the boat. He is ready to upset the system, and he is ready to change America for the better. For the better. So that's why we're here, folks. And I know it's been tough. I know it's been tough. Turning on your television, turning on your radio, turning on your cell phone, right? Everybody is getting all those messages, all those texts, all those things. It's going to end soon, but we need to make sure that we understand, as tough as that's been as a Michigander, it's also a good thing. Let me give you the little silver lining in this. We count. We are consequential. Your vote will decide who is the President of the United States, and who is in the Senate Majority Leader's office, and who is the Speaker of the House. That's a pretty good inconvenience thing to take a few ads, don't you think? Yeah, who wants to be consequential? I do. Because I know I've got colleagues, they barely even know that there's a national election happening, because they're not in a state that is like Michigan that is going to be able to decide that. So I'm just thrilled you're here. So thrilled that JD is here. This is actually the second time this week that he has been in the 4th Congressional District. On Tuesday, we hosted him up in Holland. Today, he's down here in Portage, Kalamazoo. And my guess is they're going to be coming back. And we're hoping we might see Donald Trump around in these parts. He's done it a couple of other times, a couple of other elections. So we'll see if we can convince him of that. But on my way out, who's ready to go win an election? All right, I like this. And we're gonna take this same dividing line, and this time what I want to hear is a Trump and a Vance. You ready? Let's go. Let's go win!
not working hard. Yeah, right, picture that with a Kodak. Or better yet, go to Times Square, take a picture of me with a Kodak. Took my life from negative to positive, I just want y'all to know that. And tonight, let's enjoy life. Pitbull, Naya, Neo, that's right.
I want all of you tonight. Give me everything tonight. For all we know, we might not get tomorrow. Let's do it tonight. Let's do it tonight. Grab somebody sexy, tell them hey.
But tonight, I can make you my queen and make love to you endless. It's insane the way the name growing, money keep flowing. Hustlers moving silent, so I'm tiptoeing. So keep blowing, I got it locked up like Lindsay Lohan. Put it on my life, baby. I make it feel right, baby. Can't promise tomorrow, but I promise tonight. Excuse me, and I might drink a little more than I should tonight. And I might take you home with me if I could tonight. And baby, I'ma make you feel so good tonight. 'Cause we might not get tomorrow.
Tonight, I want all of you tonight. Give me everything tonight. For all we know, we might not get tomorrow. Let's do it tonight. Let's do it tonight. Grab somebody sexy, tell them hey. Give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight. Give me everything.
Reach for the stars, and if you don't grab them, you should fall on top of the world. Think about it, 'cause if you slip, I'm gonna fall on top of your girl. What I'm involved with is deeper than the Masons, baby, and it ain't no secret. My family's from Cuba, but I'm an American. I don't get money like secrets. Put it on my life, baby. I make it feel right, baby. Can't promise tomorrow, but I promise tonight, darling. Excuse me, and I might drink a little more than I should tonight. And I might take you home with me if I could tonight. And baby, I'ma make you feel so good tonight. 'Cause we might not get tomorrow.
Tonight, I want all of you tonight. Give me everything tonight. For all we know, we might not get tomorrow. Let's do it tonight. Let's do it tonight. Grab somebody sexy, tell them hey. Give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight.
Excuse me, and I might drink a little more than I should tonight. And I might take you home with me if I could tonight. And baby, I'ma make you feel so good tonight. 'Cause we might not get tomorrow.
Yeah, you can be the greatest, you can be the best. You can be the King Kong banging on your chest.
You could beat the world, you could beat the war. You could talk to God, go banging on his door.
You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks.
You could be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you gon' find yourself.
Standing in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
can walk straight through hell with a smile.
You could be the hero, you could get the gold. Breaking all the records they thought never could be broke.
Yeah, do it for your people, do it for your pride. Are you ever gonna know if you never even try?
Do it for your country, do it for your name.
Cause there's gonna be a day when you're standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name. Cause you burn with the cross flame. And the world's gonna know your name. And you'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. Be a champion. Be a champion. Be a champion. Be a champion. The walls of the Hall of Fame. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers. Yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions, be truth seekers. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers, Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions. Standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name. Cause you burn with the cross flame. And the world's gonna know your name. And you'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. Be the greatest, you can be the best. You can be the chain car hanging on your chest.
You can be a girl, you can be the war. You can be a jacket banging on the wall.
You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks.
You can be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and your body for the
Standing in the Hall of Fame.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much of love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I let you love what I thought it was funny. You came along and woo, now honey, I've changed my mind. This love is fine. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kisses, baby. Feels good. Hold me, baby. Well, I want to love you like I love should. You're fine, so kind. Got to tell this world that you're mine. I chew my nails down and I twiddle my thumb. I'm real nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby. It drives me crazy. And it's just great balls of fire. Hold me, baby. Well, I want to love you like I love should. You're fine, so kind. Got to tell this world that you're mine. That you're mine, and I twiddle my thumb. Real nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby, drive me crazy. Well, Mr. Rangus is great balls of fire.
Touch my body, yeah. Wanna touch my body.
don't own me. I'm not just one of your many toys. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go with other boys. And don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display. 'Cause you don't own me. Don't try to change me in any way. You don't own me. Don't tie me down, 'cause I'd never stay. I don't tell you what to say. I don't tell you what to do. So just let me be myself. That's all I ask of you. I'm young and I love to be young. I'm free and I love to be free. To live my life the way I want. To say and do whatever I please. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display. I don't tell you what to say. Don't tell you what to do. So just let me be myself. That's all I ask of you. I'm young and I love to be young. I'm free.
Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair, with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring, your voice is soft like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep, and there's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. And I can easily understand how you could easily take my man, but you don't know what he means to me, Jolene. Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can. You could have your choice of men, but I could never love again. He's the only one for me, Jolene. I had to have this talk with you. My happiness depends on you and whatever you decide to do, Jolene. Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man.
Rising up, back on the street. Did my time, took my chances. Went the distance, now I'm back on my feet. Just a man and his will to survive. So many times it happens too fast. You trade your passion for glory. Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past. You must fight just to keep them alive. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rival. And the last known survivor stalks his prey in the night and is watching us all with the eye of the tiger. Face to face, out in the heat, hanging tough, staying hungry. They stack the odds, still we take to the street for the kill, with the skill to survive. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight, rising up to the challenge of our rival. And the last known survivor stalks his prey in the night, and he's watching us all with the eye of the tiger. Rising up, straight to the top. Had the guts, got the glory. Went the distance, now I'm not gonna stop. Just a man and his will to survive. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rival. And the last known survivor stalks his prey in the night, and he's watching us all with the eye of the tiger. The eye of the tiger. Eye of the tiger. Eye of the tiger. Eye of the tiger.
If everybody had an ocean across the USA, then everybody'd be served like California. You see 'em wearing their baggies, Warachi sandals too, a bushy blonde hairdo, surfing USA. You'll catch 'em surfing at Del, Ventura County line.
say, come on over, baby. Baby, you can't go wrong. We ain't faking. Oh, lot of shaking going on. Well, I say, come on over, baby. We got chicken in the corner. Woo, huh? Come on over, baby. Well, I got the bull by the horn. We ain't faking. Oh, lot of shaking going on. Yeah, let's shake, baby, shake. I said, shake, baby, shake. I said, shake it, baby, shake it. Let's shake, make it shake. Come on over. Oh, a lot of shaking going on. Oh, let's go. Hey, come on over, baby. We got chicken in the barn. Who's born was born, my born. Come on over, baby. Well, I got the bull by the horn. We ain't making a whole lot of shaking going on. Easy now, shake it. Oh, shake it, baby. Yeah. You can shake it one time for me. You know how to come over, baby. Oh, Lord, shake it going on. Now let's get real low one time now. Shake, baby, shake. All you gotta do, honey, is kind of stand in one spot. Wiggle around just a little bit. And that's what you got. Yeah. Baby, oh, Lord, shake it going on. Now let's go one time. Shake it, baby, shake it. Shake it, baby, shake it. Ooh, shake it, baby. Come on, baby, shake it, baby, shake it. Come on over. Oh, lot of shaking going on.
Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Those days are over. You don't have to sell your body to the night. Roxanne, you don't have to wear that dress tonight. Walk the streets for money. You don't care if it's wrong or if it's right. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne, 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 since I knew you, I wouldn't talk down to you. I have to tell you just how I feel. I will share you with another boy. I know my mind is made up, so put away your makeup. Told you once, I won't tell you again. It's the bad way. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light.
A lot of people feel like the American dream is further and further away. That if you work hard and play by the rules, it's a little bit harder to get ahead. It's a little bit harder to support a family, a little bit harder to buy a home. The world I grew up in was one where I think for the first time really in American history, my parents' generation did not expect their children to necessarily have a better life than they did. And you saw that in all kinds of different ways, but there was this sense growing up in Middletown in the 1990s that a lot of people didn't expect the future to be better than the past, and that's a really unique and a really tragic thing. The jobs started to disappear from that community, drugs started to move in, hopelessness started to move in, and so a lot of people who really knew that the future would be better than the past actually found a world that was a lot more difficult and a lot more challenging. I wrote Hillbilly Elegy because I wanted to give people a sense of what it was like to live in a community like mine. I didn't think a whole lot of stories were told about white working class Americans. I didn't think a lot of stories were told about people who were struggling with some of the problems we were struggling with, joblessness, drug addiction, and so forth. And I thought that I could tell a story that would make people understand my family a little bit better, and maybe in the process, understand the struggles of a lot of families. I come from the places that I want to represent, and what we need is to stop sending people that are of the DC swamp. We need to send people who are of the places they aim to represent. I want to fight for the people that I come from.
The American media has been laundering foreign disinformation. It is disgusting. Instead of talking about the crises in our country, they try to silence the people who are experiencing them. Who do you want answering the phone? Do you want a person who hides from the friendly American media, or do you want a person who takes a bullet to the head and stands up and says, fight, fight, fight? Kamala Harris, you ought to have respect enough for your own people to enforce their border laws and listen to them. Listen to them when they complain about it. Don't pretend they're bad people. We're not bad people for loving this country. You're a bad person for doing this to the country in the first place.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next Vice President of the United States of America, J.D. Vance, accompanied by the next Second Lady, Usha Vance.
Why don't we liberate these United States? We're the ones who need it worst. Let the rest of the world...
How we doing, Michigan? My friends, we're thrilled to be here. We have got just 4 days to go, 4 days to turn Michigan red, and 4 days to make Donald J. Trump the next president of the United States, and we're going to do it. Now, we've got a few people I want to recognize before we get started here. We've got the great Representative Bill Huizenga. Bill, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your leadership to the state of Michigan. We've got Michigan Senate Republican leader Eric Nesbitt. Eric, thank you so much for being here, man. And of course, Michigan House Republican leader Matt Hall. Matt, thank you for being here, and thanks to your families. And you know, I'm always thrilled to have my beautiful and smart and accomplished wife, Usha, with me. Usha, I love you, honey. Thanks for being part of this journey. But I may be especially grateful to have her today because I don't know if you saw that Kamala Harris surrogate, Mark Cuban, said that he said that the Trump campaign doesn't surround itself with smart and accomplished women. And I thought to myself, well, Mark, you know, my wife is way out of your league. So is Melania Trump, by the way. So is Susie Wiles, who's running the Trump campaign. So I wish that Mark Cuban and Kamala Harris and their entire campaign stopped insulting the people they disagreed with and maybe talked about Kamala Harris's record a little bit. But the reason I think they've decided to insult people is because they don't have a record to run on. And that's maybe where we should start. Look, Kamala Harris, you don't have to guess at what she's going to do. You don't have to listen to her slogans. You don't have to listen to her dishonest rhetoric. You just have to look at what Kamala Harris has done for the last 3.5 years. And the answer is if you're a Michigan worker, the answer is if you're a Michigan auto worker, the answer if you're a Michigan parent, she hasn't done a damn thing for you, and that's not going to change if we give her a promotion to the Oval Office. Now, that's one of the reasons why, I've got to be honest with you, I feel pretty bad for Governor Tim Walz, my Democratic colleague, who's got to go around the country when he's not hiding in the basement like his running mate. He's got to go around the country and pretend that somehow Kamala Harris is going to fix the very problems that she has been creating over the last 3.5 years. And again, you don't have to guess at what Kamala Harris is going to do. She's been in power for almost 4 years, and what has she done? She cast... Not good. It's not good. She cast the tie-breaking vote on trillions of dollars of new spending. That's one of the reasons why Michigan families can't afford groceries. She has gone to war against the American energy sector. That's one of the reasons that Michigan folks are paying 40% higher prices for gasoline and a whole host of other things. She says she cares about securing the southern border, but during her actual time as border czar, Kamala Harris opened the American southern border, flooding our communities with fentanyl and tons of illegal migrant crime. That is the actual record of Kamala Harris. Now, I got to say, you know, she's been in politics for so long, I think that she lost any sense of shame. Because when she campaigns out there in Michigan and everywhere else, what she says is on day one, she's going to make Michigan groceries more affordable. And she says on day one, she's going to get serious about border security. And I think any of us, all of us, with a lick of common sense are saying, Kamala, day one was 1,400 days ago. What the hell have you been doing the whole time? Stop talking about doing your job and go and do it. Now, Tim Walz, though, he's got to go around and pretend that Kamala Harris can be the president of the United States. That's pretty tough work, you know. There are a lot of tough jobs out there, but I think the toughest job of all maybe is going around the country and pretending that Kamala Harris is actually fit to be the president of the United States. I don't think anybody buys it, and that's why Tim Walz has got the toughest job. Now, compare that to me, I've got a very easy job. Because all I got to do is go out and remind the American people that when Donald Trump said what he was going to do, he actually kept his promises. And when Donald Trump talks about all of these common sense economic proposals, you don't have to guess at whether he's going to keep those promises because he was already president for 4 years. And what was the result of Donald Trump's leadership? Number one, we had the lowest inflation in a generation in the United States of America, 1.5%. Think about this. Over the 4 years that Kamala Harris has been vice president, the cost of goods for Michigan families has gone up about 25%. When Donald Trump left office, it was about 1.5%. That's a pretty solid contrast. When Donald Trump was president, we had the fastest rising take-home pay in a generation. And perhaps most importantly, when Donald Trump was president, our law enforcement was supported and our border was secure. That is the Trump record. So I get to go around and brag about my running mate's record, and Tim Walz gets to go around and try to pretend that somehow, if we give Kamala Harris a promotion, she's going to do something over the next 4 years that she hasn't done over the last 4 years. And I think even Kamala Harris herself doesn't believe it, which is why during the rare opportunities when she has an unscripted moment, she actually tells the American people the truth. That's what a gaffe is, my friends. The definition of a gaffe is when Kamala Harris accidentally tells the American people what she actually believes. And that's what she does during some of these unscripted softball interviews. And, you know, the thing about a softball interview is that you've got to be able to hit a softball. And I don't know that our illustrious vice president could actually hit a T-ball based on what she does during some of these interviews. And, you know, you're never... I see they have a garbage truck in the background. We'll get to that in a second. But, you know, Kamala Harris, she does these softball interviews, and, you know, you'll never hear me, never once hear me complain about this incredible opportunity to run to be your next vice president of the United States. It's the great professional honor of my life, with one exception. I sometimes, as an act of public service and sacrifice, I will do things like watch Kamala Harris on The View so that you don't have to. And then I come here and I'll report it to you. Look, I've chosen a life of service, my friend. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. But I was watching, thank you, I appreciate that, but I was watching Kamala on The View a couple of weeks ago, and, you know, remember the entire theme of her campaign is she's going to do nothing that Joe Biden did, that she doesn't bear any of the responsibility, even though that she's the sitting vice president, that she didn't cast the deciding vote on trillions of dollars in new spending, even though we know she did. So in this brief, unscripted moment, they gave her the ultimate softball. They said, what would you have done differently than Joe Biden over the last 4 years? And Kamala Harris says, well, nothing comes to mind. Now, in Kamala Harris's defense, that could very well be the slogan of the Harris-Walz campaign, nothing comes to mind, but it revealed the truth of the matter, that to vote for Kamala Harris is to vote for more of the same. A vote for Kamala Harris is a vote for more of the same wide open southern border. It's a vote for more of the same fentanyl flooding into our communities. It's a vote for more of the same violent crime that we've seen on the rise during Kamala Harris's leadership. It's a vote for more of the same increase in the cost of groceries and the cost of housing. It is a vote for more of the same incompetent and failed leadership. And I think the state of Michigan, we're going to vote for a change. We're going to vote for common sense. We're going to vote for Donald J. Trump to get back in the White House. Now let's talk about the auto industry, because I know that we are in the capital. You know, Michigan is the capital of American craftsmanship and American automobiles. And one of the things that you look at Kamala Harris, she has actively gone out there and bragged that she wants to raise your taxes to subsidize purchasing electric vehicles made in communist China. This is one of the reasons why Donald Trump wants to make auto loan payments deductible so that you can get lower taxes for buying American-made automobiles that'll help the Michigan auto workers who make them. Now think about it. This is common sense economics. We want to reward people who are creating jobs and working at those jobs right here in the state of Michigan, right here in the United States of America. We don't want to reward foreign corporations and foreign companies for stealing American jobs. And that's why we got to get back to the leadership of Donald J. Trump, because Kamala Harris, she's going out there bragging. She's telling you she's going to raise your taxes and use that money to subsidize people buying products made in China. I think we ought to cut your taxes and reward the American companies that are creating jobs right here in our own country. And I hate to say it, my friends, it's not just plans and it's not just proposals. We are seeing in action the effect of Kamala Harris's policies. Did anybody see the jobs report that came out this morning? While Kamala Harris goes out there and brags about the economy being great, we've got Michigan families who can't afford the price of groceries, and importantly, over the last month, our country lost 28,000 private sector jobs. And it gets even worse than that. We lost 46,000 manufacturing jobs. This is what happens when you double down on the failed policies, not just of the last 4 years, but the failed policies of the last 40 years. You get less Americans working and more Americans on welfare. You get less self-reliance and more dependence on the government. You get 46,000 manufacturing jobs destroyed and sent overseas. We have got to get back to creating American jobs and American prosperity right here in the state of Michigan. We cannot keep doing more of the same and expect different results. We have got to take this country in another direction. You know, I grew up in a working class family. I was raised in a steel town where over my lifetime, the steel mill that employed my grandfather, I called him Papaw. Papaw's steel mill went from 10,000 high quality union middle class jobs to now, and it's one of the lucky ones, employs maybe 1,800 people. That is what happens when you have the failed leadership. Again, not just of the last 4 years, but of the last 40 years. There was one exception, one period where we had rising take-home pay, one period where we started to reinvest in the American worker and in American industry, and that was the 4 years when Donald J. Trump was president. But we got to get back to it. 4 years is not enough to fix what was broken in 40. Look around this state. Look at your communities. Look at what's going on. These people are asking us to trade good manufacturing jobs for jobs that don't even support a middle-class family. They're asking us to trade safety in our own communities for fentanyl being flooded in by the Mexican drug cartels. I'd like to have a president that wants to create good American jobs for Michigan workers. Kamala Harris is creating jobs for the Mexican drug cartels, and we've got to go in a different direction. It's very simple. Here's what the effect of this is. Think of this. Our people are telling us that the economy, 80% of our fellow citizens are telling us the economy is going in the wrong direction. 9% of the credit card balances in the United States of America are delinquent, and that number is going up by the day. Our people are telling us they can't even afford to pay their bills, and we have an opportunity to give them new leadership and to take this country in a different direction. Michigan, in 4 days, are we ready to do exactly that? You know, it's not just in 4 days, because in the state of Michigan, and I confirmed this with Bill Huizenga, you guys have got early voting up through Sunday, okay? So you've got an opportunity to vote early, and we ought to do it. We ought to take advantage of every opportunity that we have to vote. Who has voted early in this room? Great, great. Well, we got another couple of days, and here's the game that's being played. The Democrats are trying to bank as many votes. Kamala Harris is trying to bank as many votes as physically possible so that they can have as big of a lead on Election Day. So think about it. It's like a football game where you start the game down by 3 touchdowns, okay? Well, let's start the game tied so that on Election Day we get over the finish line and we win the game and make Donald J. Trump the next president of the United States. That's all we got to do. So get out there and bank as many votes. Get out there and cast your vote early. Look, I don't like election season. I like Election Day, but it is what it is. If Kamala Harris and the Democrats are going to take advantage of every avenue and every opportunity to vote early and vote often, we've got to do the exact same thing, okay? You caught that. But here's the way, I mean, look, I say this every time I give a speech. I say, get out there and vote 10 times. That's what I want every person in this room to get out there and vote 10 times. But the legal way, okay? Here's how you vote the legal way. You take yourself to the polls. You get 9 of your friends and family to go along with you. So that's what we've got to do. So whether you're voting on Election Day or whether you're taking advantage of that early vote period through Sunday, we're going to win this race, but only if we get out there and make our voices heard. So let's go do it. I'm going to make 2 requests of you. Number 1, go to this website. It's called swampthevoteusa.com. Swampthevoteusa.com. You can check your absentee ballot if you requested one. You can check where your polling location is. We're getting late in the game, but you can check your registration. Just get out there and make sure that you do everything that you need to do, and swampthevoteusa.com is where to start that journey. The second thing I'm going to ask you to do is to get out and talk about this event, but most importantly, get out there and talk about why you're voting for President Trump on or before November the 5th. Because think about this, Kamala Harris and her allies in the corporate media, they're never going to tell the truth to the American people. You know who can tell the truth? Us. We can. We can get out there and tell the truth. So whether you're using X or Instagram or Facebook or whatever social channel you're using, and maybe, use them all, get out there and tell people why you are voting for Donald J. Trump. And here's why I haven't cast my ballot yet. I'm going to cast my ballot on Tuesday. Here's why I'm voting for Donald J. Trump. I'm voting for Donald J. Trump because I am sick of the failed consensus in this country that says that we can outsource prosperity to other countries even while our own people can't afford to buy the food that they put on their family table. That's why I'm voting for Donald Trump. I'm voting for Donald Trump because I want to close the border and deport the millions upon millions of illegal aliens who have come into this country. I'm voting for Donald Trump because I want my kids, we've got a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. I want them to grow up in a safe country. I want them to become adults in safe communities. You know, one of the most profound and scary things that I've ever seen happened on the campaign trail. I was in a place called Valdosta, Georgia, and Valdosta was hit pretty hard by Hurricane Helene a couple of weeks ago, but I was there actually a few weeks before the hurricane hit Valdosta. And I was taken by the local sheriffs, the local law enforcement, into what they call the interdiction room. And you go into this room and there's, bags of marijuana, there's bags of pills, there's a bunch of illegal guns, because the media doesn't talk about this, but one of the main businesses of the Mexican drug cartels is to bring illegal guns into our country. And for all the Second Amendment people out there, we really have a very stark choice here. Kamala Harris wants to facilitate the drug cartels running illegal guns, but wants to confiscate legal citizens from exercising their Second Amendment rights. Donald Trump wants to empower you to exercise your Second Amendment rights, and he wants to go after the illegal gun running of the Mexican drug cartels. I think that's common sense. But there I am in Valdosta, Georgia, and there's everything. There's drugs, there's pills, there's cocaine, there's meth, and then on the table in front of me, there's a box of candy, like Nerds Sour Patch candies. And I asked the sheriff, I said, what's going on there? That doesn't look like drugs to me. And he said, oh, yes, it is. Because what the Mexican drug cartels have figured out is if they disguise refined THC and fentanyl as childhood candy, they make it easier to get into our country. They make it easier to traffic into the United States of America. And all of us know exactly what's going to happen is that at some point, one of those packets of candy is going to end up on an American playground, and an American child is going to open up a piece of candy and is going to pay for that with their lives. And I think about my kids, and I think all of us with kids or grandkids or even just kids in our lives know that every child eventually is going to make some mistake. Some mistakes are big and some mistakes are small. Do you know how many parents of children I've talked to, parents of teenagers, whose kids took something under peer pressure in the last few years, but it was laced with fentanyl, and so that child paid for that childhood mistake, not with a headache or with a lecture from their parents the next morning. They paid for that mistake with their lives. So you know why I'm voting for Donald J. Trump? Because I want my kids to grow up in a country that's safe enough for them to make a mistake and learn from it rather than have that mistake claim their lives because Kamala Harris didn't do their job. I'm voting for Donald Trump because while the media attacks him relentlessly, we all saw just a few weeks ago that he was a man who showed true courage under fire. Because when an assassin tried to take his life in Butler, PA, or a few weeks later when a second assassin tried to take his life again in Florida, the president, after that second assassination attempt, he called me. And he said, JD, they tried to do it again. I said, well, what did they try to do, sir? He said, well, they just caught a gunman. He was going to try to shoot me. And, I asked him, how are you doing, sir? And he said, I'm doing okay. And I said, but, not just physically, like, how are you actually doing? This is a pretty traumatic thing to happen. It just happened a second time in 2 months. And he said, well, I'm kind of pissed off because I was about to make a birdie on the 6th hole, and the Secret Service wouldn't let me finish. And, I chuckled, but I thought that's the type of person you want in the Oval Office at a time of world crisis. You want the person who laughs it off, who can joke about tragedy. You want a person who can show defiance at a traumatic moment and not run away from the friendly American media, which is what Kamala Harris does. That's one reason why I'm voting for Donald Trump. And another reason I'm voting for Donald J. Trump for president? I'm voting for President Trump because he respects his fellow Americans enough to try to persuade them rather than try to censor them. And that is maybe the biggest and most profound difference between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. You hear all of these Democratic Party stooges, these mouthpieces on cable news say that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. You know what I think is a real threat to democracy? That Kamala Harris wants to censor people who engage in speech that she disagrees with. The real threat to democracy is the attack on the First Amendment coming from Kamala Harris. And Donald J. Trump and I are going to fight for your right to speak your mind, even if we disagree with you, because that's what the Constitution says. And I got to remember, these are the Democratic Party. And look, I was raised by two blue-collar Democrats. My mama and papa, they always said they voted for Democrats because Democrats were the party of working men and women, and I just don't think that's true anymore. That's why I'm standing here as your Republican vice presidential nominee, is because Democrats have given up on working men and women in this country. And if you look at the coalition that we've assembled here, from Nikki Haley and Brian Kemp on the right to Tulsi Gabbard and Bobby Kennedy on the left, we want common sense back in government, and that's why we're supporting Donald Trump. But I'm really troubled. I'm really troubled by what I've seen coming from the Democrats over the last couple of weeks and really over the last couple of years. Remember, in 2016, when Hillary Clinton, she didn't just attack Donald J. Trump, she said that the people who were voting for Donald J. Trump were part of a basket of deplorables. She called you deplorable simply because you felt differently from her about questions of politics in this country. And I think it's important, my friends, that we in this room, we in this hangar, we in the Republican Party, we don't take that bait. And one piece of advice I'd give as the person who wants to be your next vice president is, in this election, I'm sure that every person in this room thinks or has a person in their life, a friend, a family member, maybe an acquaintance, maybe an old classmate, who they think is going to vote the wrong way. And I'm going to make two requests of you. First of all, spend the next 4 days trying to convince them to vote the right way, because the country really does depend on it. But the second thing I'm going to say is, don't discard our friends and family because they have the wrong political opinions. That would be taking the Democrats' bait. Friends and family are far more important than wrong opinions, and we in this party believe that we're a big enough country to disagree about matters of public policy, but still have dinner with one another afterwards. I imagine, like you, I've lost way too many friends and family over the past few years over politics, and one thing that I'm proud of is that I've never said to anybody that I love, you're not my friend or you're not my family member because you're voting for Kamala Harris. I've had a few people who've come at me and say, I don't want to be your friend anymore because you're running alongside Donald J. Trump. Whatever direction it comes from, it's stupid. Love the people in your life. Don't discard 40-year-old friendships because they disagree with you on politics, because that's what the Democratic leadership has done in this country. They've been attacking and tearing down our fellow citizens for disagreeing about politics, and we've got to be bigger, we've got to be better, and that's exactly who we are and what we are. Because think about this campaign. Kamala Harris, she can't tell you that she's lowered your grocery prices because thanks to her policies, your grocery prices are higher. She can't tell you that she's closed down the southern border because thanks to her policies, the southern border is wide open. She cannot tell you that her policies have lowered housing prices because thanks to what Kamala Harris has done, the American dream of homeownership is more unaffordable today than it ever has been in the history of this country. What she can do instead is that she can attack her fellow citizens, and that's exactly what she's doing. She's trying to distract from her own failures as a leader by attacking the people who dare to criticize her and vote for Donald J. Trump for president. And I've never in my life seen a person who wants to be the president of the whole United States of America who seems to greet her fellow citizens with such disdain and such hatred. And that's what we're seeing coming. We have a garbage truck behind us. Why do we have that? Remember, from Hillary Clinton calling us deplorables to other Democrats saying that we cling to our guns and to our religion, to now Kamala Harris's boss saying that Donald Trump supporters are garbage. These are people who hate their fellow citizens. And I think if this movement of ours is animated by anything, it's that we love our fellow citizens. We want them to have prosperity again, and that's why we're going to make Donald J. Trump the next president of the United States. And to my fellow citizens, you are not garbage. We are not garbage for being pissed off that the country just lost 46,000 manufacturing jobs in a month. We are not bad people for thinking that Kamala Harris ought to do her job and close down the damn border. We are not bad people for wanting our fellow citizens to be able to afford the price of groceries. We love this country. We're fighting for this country, and we are going to deliver prosperity back to the United States of America in 4 days when Donald J. Trump comes back to the White House. I want to leave you with one final thought, my friends, then we're going to have to hit the road. I believe we're headed to North Carolina and then out west to Nevada later tonight. And the thought that I want to leave you with is this, that we're not just fighting to, win a political battle. This is so much bigger than red shirt versus blue shirt, red team versus blue team. And by the way, we've got a lot of Democrats and a lot of independents in this movement, and we're not just welcoming them, we're thrilled to have them. But here's the thing. This election is about giving the American people the leadership that it deserves. I would love to wake up in 4 years and tell the people of Michigan that we didn't lose tens of thousands of manufacturing jobs. We gained millions of manufacturing jobs because our government did its job. To all the people who have lost a loved one from a fentanyl overdose brought in through Kamala Harris's open border, I would love to be able to stand here 4 years from now and say, we helped save the lives of our fellow citizens because we closed down that border and went to war against the Mexican drug cartels. I met a woman who told me that she and her husband for 40 years had a ritual called steak night, and they do steak night every Friday night, but they canceled it last year because under Kamala Harris's policies, groceries got too expensive. I would love it if I could meet that woman in a few years and say, thanks to the policies of Donald J. Trump, you're having steak night again because we've got prosperity and plenty again in the United States of America. And I frankly would love if the Democratic Party got such an ass kicking in 4 days, excuse my language, that they nominated politicians that while we may disagree with them on policy, they never again tried to call their fellow citizens garbage for disagreeing with their broken leadership. Let's go make Donald J. Trump the next president of the United States, my friends. We got 4 days to do it. God bless you. I love Michigan. We'll be back soon.
Ringing up the cell.